Hello, I'm Hollis from Hollis Makes It, and today I'm back with part 3 of making dress from Fortnite Battle Royale. So to start with, I'm using a X-Acto knife to smooth out the mask a little bit, so I can paint onto it later and make it look nice. I think I'll be using about one more episode to finish drifts. This whole episode's also a little longer, so I hope you enjoy. So to start with, I just scraped off some extra, then heating up my 3D pen and printing out some more onto it. And then I'm going to work on making the ears, and I think I'm going to paint it. So I'm just feeding my white and then printing it out so that there's no other color, it's just white. Then I'm printing out the excess color. Printing out around the edges more, and then cut it down, then use a file on my knife to smooth it out. And then I use the tip of the 3D pen to melt the eye holes a little deeper and stuff. And I kept smoothing it away till it was a nice smooth mask. As smooth as I could get it, because this 3D pen filament is not the best for sanding and stuff. And I made the eye holes a little bigger. And with the 3D pen. Then I'm going around like the edges of stuff and like melting it away a little bit, make it shaped a little better. Then I'm drawing out a pattern for what I want the ear to be like. And I'm trying to print out the ear. It takes me a couple tries to get it right, I think. So I just work on printing it out to make it shape nice, and then I just peel it off and start making another one. And then I'm like just fitting and make sure it fits right. And I'm just trimming away one of them, but then I decide I don't like it and try making one again. So then I'm using a roll of duct tape to prop it up so I can put the ears on. And I'm just using my 3D pen to weld them together. And then I'm just using the tip of it to smooth out the plastic and stuff a little bit. Then I decided to try making another one because the first one did not work out the best. So then I used my 3D pen to get it to the right size and then put it on. So just work on doing that. Then I smooth out around the sides and stuff. And then I just print out a little extra plastic to make the right size. I notice now that the right ear is just a little bit shorter than the left ear. So I may change that in the next episode. But I'm still trying to decide. Because you can barely tell it's how much shorter. So I'm trying to make stage 6 drift in this series, so that's the one I make if any of you guys are wondering. And if you have any ideas for future projects, you can just leave a comment and tell me what projects you'd like me to make. I'll also be making hands for this figure later. I was thinking about originally printing on the pink stuff, but then I just decided to paint it. I first get some white paint to make that look a little whiter, because it wasn't quite white enough. So I just paint that on. Then I wait for that to dry. I paint the back of the ears too. Now it's all dry, so now I'm using some other paint to do like the details on it, the face. So I'm just painting the ear. And then I'm painting the eyes. So then I just get a little dab of paper, wet paper, and just get off the extra paint. And now I'm just using a little yellow paint to do like the gold area on his forehead. I'm doing it, taking off the extra paint. And now I'm going to be using a pen to draw like the mouth and around the eyes. And then I just wait for the mask to be dry. So now the mask is dry. So now I'm going to be making the hood. Right. I'm really happy with the way the mask turned out. Then I just trim that down and glue it in place right there. And do the same for the other side. So then I just glue it down in the back and just trim it. And then just glue it down a little bit more and then trim a little bit more. And just glue it down until it's done. So now I finished the mask. So then I just do I'm trying to get some black paint, but there's not enough paint there, so then I try some grey paint to see if that's dark enough, but it's not, so then I just make get some black with some other color of paint. And I just end up using some damp paper, towel to take off the extra grey paint. So then I'm using blue and brown to make some black. But it looks almost black. I'm not sure if it's actually completely black. It looks completely black. So I just try painting that, but it's not turning out very well. So I just use some damp paper tablets to take off the extra paint. And then I just go paint it again with black. And then I'll wait for that to be dry. And I'll start making the hood well, not the hood, I already made the hood, I mean the cloak and stuff. That cloak has a lot of details, so it may take me a while to make. So now it's all dry. So now I'm just working on making the sleeves of the cloak and the back of the cloak. I'll do the collar of the cloak next episode. And first, I'm just finishing off the shoes and gluing on a little piece of black on the back. So then I'm just moving the arms around and trying to I'm doing like the little strips of pink down the sides of the ends. I could have also used paint, but I just decided fabric would be easier. And I think it turned out looking pretty nice. So I just glued that in place. Then I just cut some fabric for the other side. And glue that in place too. And then I trim it down. So I just brush all my extra stuff into a trash can, and I have it on the side. And then I'm cutting a piece for the back of the cloak. With some black plastic. There's just like a little slit in the back, and I'm working doing that. And then I'm cutting like with a where it will go around the neck and stuff. I'm just like measuring glass and stuff and making sure it fits. Now I'm just working making the sleeves, because I've decided I'm just gonna glue the sleeves on first and then glue the rest of the cloak on. So technically I really did not need to do all those details under the cloak, but I just felt like doing them. So then I'm just cutting it down to the right size. And then putting it on. So then I'm working on trying to cut one for the other side too. I eventually end up just tracing the original one to make one that's exactly the same for the other side. Because I tried a couple times, it just doesn't work out well. So you can just tell that other one just isn't turning out very well. It's not too easy to make it second, so then I just start cutting out to the exact size of it. And I do that. And then I flip it over and do the other side. And cut that. I leave a little extra so I can glue it. Then put glue. I need to be careful not to put too much glue on this plastic because it can melt if I put too much hot glue. The annoying thing about working with hot glue is all the hot glue strings that get everywhere and stuff. So now I've done both of those sleeves. So then I just decide to glue the sleeves in place. And they're glued in place. Now I'm just doing the strips of gold that go around the edge of the sleeves. It's quite difficult to do that. I maybe should have done this on the sleeve before I put it on. But it ends up looking really nice when it's done. I end up trimming off the extra after I'm done too. And then I cut another strip for the other side. And glue that in place too. I put the glue in the fabric and not on the plastic so it has a little time to cool down before so it cannot just melt the plastic. Then I just cut off the extra. And then just put a little drop of glue on that. So now I'm just working on the back of the cloak. I just glue on the back. And then I just cut out like where the sleeves will go and stuff. And I just cut strip, the little plastic, and just glued around that go over the shoulders. And I just cut where the armholes go. And stuff. And I test fit and stuff. So then I just glue that in place. Stuff. It's a little bumpy in places, but it's the best I can do with this plastic because it doesn't bend the easiest. So then I'm just working on the front of the cloak. And just doing that. I think I thought I cut that piece too short in the beginning, so I tried looking for other pieces, but I don't have enough piece big enough, and I realized I just had it the wrong way around. So then I just turn it around, and it's actually the right size. So then I trim one so it goes around the sleeve. And then I copy that on the other side. So, then I just trim off the extra black plastic from that side. And then I just glue it onto the other side. And it's starting to look like really a lot like drift. Or max state drift. And then I'm just cutting it and gluing it to get the front and back of the cloak together. I just put a strip of glue and then just push them together. Do that on both sides. So then the cloak itself is done. Now I just need to do the collar and all the details. I'll do the collar though next step. Just working on some of the details to start with, like the gold around the bottom of the cloak. I originally just did not look at my image and I thought it went like that, but then I realized I was wrong, so I just pulled it off before the glue fully dried. And then there's like a strip down the back of pink, so I use that. Cut a strip, but I don't glue it onto. So then I cut the gold pieces and glue them onto each side. And this is looking really nice. So then I just glue it down more. And trim it and stuff. And glue it on the side and then trim it. One side was long enough that I could do it all in one piece, but the other side needed to use two pieces. But in the finished one, you cannot really tell that it uses two pieces on one side. So right now it doesn't look the nicest because then it's not trimmed well or anything, so I'll do that in just a minute. So you cannot see it right now, I'm just working on trimming it down and stuff to the right size. And then I'm just putting some glue on it to hold it in place. better. How I'm able to get such details and stuff is I'm using a 3D model on a computer and just looking at that. As I'm building it and just move it around and stuff so I can see all the details and stuff. So I can look at it. Instead of using pictures, I find that a lot easier. So then I just cut it down to the right size and glue it in place. So then I just working and cutting the pink thing that goes in the back and just working, gluing that in place. If it had the collar right now, you guys would almost think that it was a finished drift. So then I do that. And then there's some white strips on either side of that. So I'm just using paper for those. And I cut the pink thing a little too thick, so I'll just glue those on top of the paper. They'll go down to the right size. So then I just put some glue in that and just glue it in place. So then I do that on the other side too. Trim it and then glue that in place too. So now I'm going to just work on the pockets on the front of it. Those are a little difficult since they're half black, half gold, but so I just glue pieces put together. And that gold piece was a little long, so I just cut that in half and glue it on again. And then I just cut it in half for the 2 layers of the pocket, and then trim it to the right size. So then I cut up it on the other side of it. But that just didn't, I ended up not mirroring, I did the exact same, so I just cut smaller for the inner pocket. So then I just glue this inner one to the outer one and then just mirror it on the other side. And it ends up looking really nice. So then I'll just glue this in place. But this is around the end of the video, so yeah, just I'm working mirroring and then gluing it in place. So I just finished cutting it out of the smaller one, glue it onto the bigger one, and then I glued those onto the jacket. So that's about all of this video, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you liked it, make sure to leave a like, and you can comment future projects for me to make. So that's all for this video. Bye.